he in Vegas. He witnessed what happened last night. So we gonna discuss the aftermath of Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, and I'm gonna ask him some questions on what should both fighters do. After this fight, what's the plan? What do he thinks best for Terrence Crawford? What direction should he go, and what direction should Errol Spence go? So, Jay, give us your take of the fight, man. What did you think, man?
I mean, as I predicted, like, I watched Terrence Crawford fight Errol Spence last night. Came out in the southpaw stance. He fought Errol Spence in the southpaw stance, the complete fight, and just dominated. I watched the brother. I watched him get full extension of all his punches. I watched how strong he was, how he nudged, like he'd get off the combination and he'd just bully Spence with strength. He was much stronger physically. But I've always heard people say those YouTubers, listening to all those YouTubers, Money Making Brown, for non-boxing, uh uh what's the other motherfuckers' names?
Goofy
Champ
ass Fred.
Side, Champ Side, Fred, White Boy Fred, White Boy, Black Boy Fred.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, who else? There's one more in there. One more. Oh. What is the guy from Oakland? He from the Bay.
Who?
Boxing
Who?
Ego. Boxing Ego. All of those guys. That's what Terrence was talking about. All of those guys, they built the YouTube subscriber and following off of downing Terrence Crawford, man. That's all they did. Push.
Yeah, that's
false,
crazy.
push
That
false
was it was
propaganda.
more of them. It was quite a few of them.
There's
A
more. I
lot of
know.
them was from Dallas.
I just don't listen to all that shit. You know what I'm saying? But the
I
thing
feel
of
it.
it is, man, when you choose like that, see, boxing is about. See the analysts, the analysts, the former fighters. They are the ones that really understand. People that watch boxing, that have been in the ring, they are the people that really understand boxing. These new YouTubers, y'all don't know shit. That's why Joe, he getting well rounded. You getting well rounded. You learning more. You talking to people that really understand boxing. You ain't just coming in and trying to get subscribers and then thinking you know everything and then picking your favorite fighter. It's all about the talent. And for people to try to say that Terrence Crawford ain't fought nobody, the man won a title at 135. He clinked out the 140 division. He got 4 belts. For somebody to say that's not good opposition and he's fought nobody and ain't never laced up, you don't got the right to say that. And that's what a lot of you YouTubers was saying and pushing y'all shit on and building y'all subscribers on false shit. Shit that y'all don't know nothing about. Y'all don't know what the hell y'all was talking about.
Well, let me
And
ask you
Terrence
this.
Crawford just proved it.
Yeah, well, Justin, let me ask you this. Well, if Terrence Crawford ain't fought a bunch of nothing but a bunch of nobodies at 147, well, what does that make Errol Spence?
I mean, they faced a lot of the same fighters. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They faced a lot of the same fighters. So I don't understand that.
I've
I
been
don't
trying to
understand.
understand that for the last 5 years since since he moved up to 147. I gotta ask you something, man. Me and you didn't have this conversation, off the scenes, and we gonna have it on the scene and on my platform. What do you think of primarily all these black YouTube channels that caused this division in the community over years leading up to a fight that just turned out to be a one-sided ass whooping in favor of Terrence Crawford? And what do you think about these people that launch these personal attacks? I'm talking about beyond boxing with Terrence Crawford, that took it beyond boxing.
Man, you know about the pimp game. You from the Bay, right? You from
Of
Oakland,
course,
right?
of course.
You know about the pimp game. You remember Teddy Pendergrass made a song called "Choice Tonight."
Yeah.
You're my choice tonight. Errol Spence was their choice. They was a whole lot of YouTube and choosing ass motherfuckers. That's all it was. They chose Errol Spence. Like choosing like a hoe choose a pimp. They chose Errol Spence. And they lost. Terrence Crawford took the hoes.
I mean, let
You
me ask
know?
you something. Let's talk about the overall fight. Did you think now me and you both behind the scenes predicted that Terrence Crawford would win this fight by stoppage, but did you think it was gonna be like such a one-sided, uncompetitive fight? I mean, from beginning to end?
To keep it real on some real shit. I just really understand that Terrence got power in both hands. And when you got power in both hands and you know, you fighting a southpaw, Terrence is naturally a right hand fighter, but he can knock you out with either hand. It's really hard to defend from a south point stance somebody that has their power forward like that. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
That's why he was catching him with so many lead right hooks. Cause that right hand that right hand was forward. The power was forward. So all he had to do was lock and turn over. And that's what he did. Locked and turned over. Then used the jab. The jab was powerful out the gate. First round, I seen the jab hit him right in front of the forehead. So I mean, yeah, he and like I said, and he fought southpaw the whole fight. So Errol
And
just
that
didn't
was
have nothing. He didn't have nothing in his toolbox to stop it, and it didn't seem like Errol was strong at all. I don't know. I think I've never really seen Errol knock nobody out anyway. If you really like, if you really want to like be real and go back to his previous fights, he didn't really knock nobody out. I mean, he stopped Carol Brook, but that's pretty much it. I ain't seen nobody else.
uh, and that's factual and that's interesting
And I was
that you
surprised that he
brought that
stopped.
up.
I was surprised that he stopped Carol Brook. I mean, because Carol Brook's strong.
Well, that's funny, Jay, that you brought that up because remember I told you this behind the scenes when I said, listen, that man couldn't stop Mikey Garcia, man. He couldn't stop Danny Garcia. I mean,
Yeah,
he
and
never really was
Danny
sleeping
Garcia,
people.
Danny Garcia is really a lightweight, 140 pounder.
And that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, you should have stopped Danny Garcia. And I was thinking to myself, how you not stop Mikey Garcia, a dude that came for like what one? He started at what junior like featherweight or something, or he started at 126 or something. I mean, how
126.
you not? Yeah, how you not stop? Well, I saw it back then, and I was like, I was thinking to myself, I was like, I don't know about this, but then you heard people say, oh man, Errol Spence just wanted to display his boxing ability. Look, somebody like that, man, he ain't supposed to go 6 rounds with you. It's supposed to be a destruction. He never even put Mikey Garcia on his ass, and that's when I really started to have question marks about Errol Spence, and I started to
Yeah.
see it. And what I saw in the fight, and that's funny that you reminded me that he fought Southpaw the whole fight. He didn't even have to fight Orthodox. I think it might have been an even
Typically,
shorter fight if he would have fought Orthodox.
typically Terrence Crawford comes out righty, he comes out righty conventional style, and then he flips to southpaw. You know, he comes out righty, usually like 2 rounds. Then he flips over, and then wears you down and knock you out from the left side as a southpaw. But it's the power. What I've seen is the power when he fights out of southpaw stance. He doesn't have to step over to throw his left. The left fluently comes out like a jab. That's what I seen. And typically, natural southpaw fighters, they have to step before they throw the left. But Terrence didn't have to step. He just throws it. And then like I said, the right hand which is the jab, is right there. Which is the hook is right there. The power is right there on his lead foot. So he don't have to do certain things that a natural southpaw has to do. And at the same time, southpaws are more susceptible to getting hit by right hands than conventional fighters, than right hand fighters. So that was another thing.
Were you
He could see,
surprised about how good and how
Spence
defensively
couldn't see.
sound? What did you
Spence
think of
couldn't see the right
Terrence
hand.
Crawford's defense? And did you think Errol Spence got exposed for his lack of defense? Because I always question Errol Spence's defense. He don't
Well,
move his
well,
head
well, well,
down the line
well,
too much.
yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't. He tries to get in. And he tries to break you down to your body like a tree. But he does use the jab to get in though. So when you use your jab and stay behind your jab, you really don't have to move your head too much. You know what I'm saying? But 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 yeah, I don't think he could see. I think by when Terrence went southpaw with him, I don't think he could see the power. He couldn't. I mean, he couldn't see the shots from the southpaw side, from a southpaw stance. He couldn't see the shots.
I think he hadn't fought too many
So
southpaws himself in
so
his
that served,
career.
but that served as a natural defense for Terrence because Terrence could see Arrow's left hand better as a southpaw. Got to think about it. He could
Yeah.
see it. He could see it better. But Earl couldn't see his because he not used to somebody teeing off on that right side like that on him. And
Well, let me.
they might have prepared for righty for Terrence fighting right hand.
Yeah, I was real impressed by Terrence Crawford's performance. But let me ask you about Derek James. I'm gonna ask you a two-part question. I felt Derek James made it way too personal with Bomac talking about he looked like he haven't missed a meal and all this kind of stuff. I want to ask you what you think of that, and then also I want to ask you, do you think that Derek James should have threw in the towel after Errol Spence was dropped like that third time because he was badly hurt? He was busted up. He was bleeding from the nose, bleeding from the mouth. Looked like he had a little bit of blood coming out of his ears. Do you think Derek James should have stopped the fight? Because in the ninth round, Harvey Dock I think saved Errol Spence because Errol Spence was about to get like slept, and he was badly hurt. And a lot of people that I was watching the fight with was like, this fight went a round and a half too long, that he should have stopped the fight after the seventh round. What do you
Seventh
think?
round, yeah. I mean, the thing of it is, when you talk about Derek James and Bomac, we got to keep the disrespect out. I mean, we're not the ones fighting the fight. The trainer's not the ones fighting the fight. You riding with your man, true enough. But I mean, insults, keep it respectful. Keep it professional. And keep it classy. What I like the fact Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford displayed such classmanship. You know what I'm saying? So that should trickle down through the whole camp. The whole camp should follow their man. Because at the end of the day, they not the ones lacing up. So it should never get to the point of whereas they're taking this personal. Like this is their fight. You know what I'm saying? And for him to, I ain't got respect for that. I don't respect that. For him cracking on Bomac like that because he a big dude, because he fat. That don't have nothing to do with what's at hand. What's at hand is these two dudes about to get in this ring and we about to witness greatness. You do your best as a trainer, I do my best as a trainer. Good luck. You know what I'm saying? They should have shook hands. You know? True enough, I say Terrence didn't have buffed up at Derek James or whatever. But you know, it is what it is. He still kept it respectful and classy with Errol Spence. And Errol Spence did the same thing. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day, man.
Hey, Justin, I know you got a drop on information. So do you think you kind of could give me an idea of what the pay-per-view numbers was?
Well, I think I mean, I don't know. I think he should have done at least over 500. I'm gonna give it that. I'm gonna give it five. I'm gonna give it 500. 500, 600. It should have been around in there. At
I'm
80 a
so
pop, 80 a pop, what's that? 40 million, something like that.
yeah, it's a 80. Well, actually, it was like $85. You know, service fees and taxes. It's probably around 90, 95, $100 and stuff. So you really talking about $100 a pop. You
So
know,
that's 80. So that's 80. That's 80 million the fight generated on pay-per-view sales. Now I don't know about the tickets because they initially came out charging a tremendous amount of money for the tickets. I think they were kind of like using the uh, the uh, the template from Tank's fights. But you have to Tank and Ryan Garcia fight. But you have to realize those guys were kind of like built. Terrence and Errol Spence really aren't really built. You know, they just got built. You know, they weren't tremendous pay per view draws. You know what I'm saying? But I think the next fight will be even more than that. You know what I'm saying? I think it should do 1 million. It don't surprise me if this didn't do 1 million. I mean,
well, let me.
I'm happy for it
Well,
if it does.
so in your opinion, now this is my own personal opinion. Um, they do have an obligation for a rematch. Now the winner get to pick what the weight is, but Errol Spence says he plans on exercising his rematch clause. Let me ask you this: I know if it make dollars, it makes sense, but do you think physically? Because like I said, Errol Spence took a beating in that fight. I mean, he took a bad beating. Do you
Yeah,
see
we
a
do.
rematch at a higher weight class being any different? Me myself, I think it's the same results. I just think Errol Spence, if he fought Terrence Crawford 5 times, he would lose all 5 times. I just think even though it was just even though Errol Spence was talking about the weight and everything, I just look at skill set. I think no matter what weight class they fight at, I think the results will still be the same. So what's your take? And what's your take on the excuses being made by some of the fans about car crashes and weight drained and he looked like he
Man,
was drunk and all that shit?
man, they should dead that shit. That's why that was my main purpose for calling you today. And I spoke to that because I seen Boxing
Go
Ego put
ahead.
some shit up. I seen Boxing Ego put some shit up there. Hold on a second. I seen Boxing Eagle put some shit up there on Facebook today, saying some stuff about how he looked dehydrated or just trying to make excuses. There shouldn't be no excuses at the end of the day. The better man won, and Errol Spence said that out of his mouth. Since y'all following y'all man, y'all should follow y'all man completely and say the better man won, and don't get no excuses. That's how it should be. I mean, giving making excuses and saying all that shit when you really ain't a professional. You're just only doing this shit to make money. You know what I'm saying? You don't have no years in this shit, in this business. You ain't never laced up. You know what I'm saying? You just pushing propaganda to get YouTube hits, to monetize. You should just ride with your man that you lost with. He said that Terrence Crawford was the better fighter. So it is what it is. That's it and that's all. And to see them in a rematch, I mean, honestly speaking, the way he just totally just dominated him, I mean, I don't see him coming out victorious. I don't see Errol Spence coming out victorious. So, I mean, that's a situation that Terrence might not even want to exercise his rematch clause. But, but,
I
but,
mean,
but I'm gonna tell you this, because I got a lot of respect for Errol for staying in there, still trying to fight. That's a warrior. So, with that being said, he gonna go back and replay this whole fight in his brain. He gonna go back and figure out what he did wrong, which means he is gonna Earl Spence is gonna exercise his rematch clause because he wanted. You know, the thing of it is, when you a sports person, when you in sports and you an athlete, you don't like to lose at all. I don't care what sport it is. And a real athlete, they gonna come back and want to fight again. They gonna come back and want to get a do over. They want another opportunity if they can get another opportunity to win. And that's just what it is. So I say it'll be another fight. Errol already said that. Terrence already said that. So we need to look out for the next one. I think it's what, December or something like that.
Well, I haven't heard nothing about a definitive fight date, but I have.
They gotta get it, they gotta get it done per the contract. They gotta get it done before December. So yeah, December.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but after what I saw last night, I don't think that a rematch is going to be any different. I think it could. I think it could end quicker. I think, to
Yeah.
be
Oh
honest
no.
with
Oh no. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I'm just saying. I'm just giving props to
you,
Errol
no,
Spence
no,
because
no, I get
he
it.
gonna
I get
want
it.
to get him up again. He gonna want to do it again.
I think the thing is, it just comes to natural ability. I just think from what I seen, I just think that Errol Spence got figured out by Terrence Crawford. I think it's nothing that I think he could do different in a rematch to better his chances of winning. I think whatever Errol tries to do in a rematch, if there is a rematch, I think Terrence Crawford will make the adjustment. And then also, Justin, we got to bring this dude into the equation. You know, the man behind the scenes. Do you think Al Heyman want that for Errol Spence? Because,
Why not?
I
Why not?
mean,
It's out of Al Heyman's hands at this point. It's out of Al Heyman's hands at this point. Out and did everything to push Spence up there. He's done his job, man. They Showtime and Al Heyman promoted a tremendous fight. I think the ticket prices was a little over high, over slightly over, over expensed, but overpriced, I should say. But I think that it's really out of Al Heyman hands. I think that Errol Spence is going to want that rematch. I think his ego is going to demand that ego rematch. And so they gonna go. They got the. I'm gonna tell you like this: if the fight made money, if Showtime made money, and everybody they didn't hit the pay per views covered the guarantees, and they didn't lose no money, even if they broke even, that means they didn't have to pay nothing out their pocket. They gonna go back and reassess what they did wrong and
now I
figure
ain't gonna
out how
say,
to do it better. So
yeah,
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So
you let me ask you this. Do you think this could be the first fight that they'll have at Allegiant Stadium? You think it could draw enough of a buzz to where they fill up a football stadium? Because Mark Davis said he wants a fight at Allegiant Stadium, but he also said he want a fight where it can do mass amount of numbers, because basically he talking about he want to sell at least 50,000 tickets. He don't want to lend his
I
stadium
said
out
they could. I said they
and it
could do a
sells like
corner.
15,000.
I said they could do probably one side of the stadium, one side of the stadium, and probably do like 30,000 or something like that first. But the money is in the pay per view. The money is in the home buys. If you could get them like Javante Davis, they sold 1.2 million pay per views. That's a lot of money, man. It's better like that. I mean, because a lot of people, you got it right in front of your TV. You got it right in front of you. You don't have to deal with the crowds. You don't have to deal with COVID. You don't have to deal with whatever. You know, I mean, especially the way the fights are overpriced. When they first initially started off, I think the nosebleeds were $800. all the way
Yeah,
down to
that's
like
absurd.
$10,000, $15,000 a seat. So you don't have that many people that want to spend money like that. But you do have a lot of people that could have fight parties, spend $80 to $100 on fight parties. You can get everybody to pitch in 10 a piece, 15 a piece, 20 a piece, and you got a fight party. You know what I'm saying? Have somebody bring the food. Imagine selling a million in pay-per-views. If this did that, those numbers, oh, they're gonna re-up. They're gonna do it again. Steven Espinosa gonna push. He gonna push to do this again. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think they did it. It was a spectacular event. I think they did a real good job. Al Heyman and Showtime, Steven Espinosa.
Yeah, it was a
Like
lot of celebrities there.
I watch every aspect of the programming, and just everything, all the shoulder, you know, uh, events that were associated with the fight. Even the promotions, they did a whole lot on social media. I seen that. Like I, I'm gonna redo it. I think that I'm gonna reassess. I think that it might have did about 700,000, 700,000 home buys. I could be wrong. I'm gonna say about 700,000. Because what were they guaranteed? Was they guaranteed 10 a piece or 20 a
Well, they
piece?
were guaranteed. They didn't release the
I think it was
specific
10 a
numbers, but
piece.
both of them were guaranteed 8-figure salaries. So it was a win-win for both of them.
I think
None
it
of
was.
this.
I think that, yeah, I think it was guaranteed 10 apiece. So
Yeah.
with the gate alone, that fight generated over at least 17, 16,000 on the gate, maybe more, maybe 20. That's just ticket
Mm.
sales. I don't think Steven Espinosa they don't get a part of that. They just get a part of the pay per views. So,
So
like I said,
so so who?
if they made their money back on pay per views and they didn't have to pay the fighters out their guarantees, if they didn't have to pay the fighters, they're guaranteed. If they paid their fighters the
Oh,
guarantees and they made money, it's all good. They're gonna run it back. They're gonna
hey,
push to
hey,
run it
hey,
back.
Jay, you gotta go to your phone breaking up. Go to a different. Go somewhere where you a little more clearer.
You hear me now?
All right, hold on,
What
y'all.
about
We
now?
having some technical difficulties.
How do I get all of this off my screen? What is this on?